2nd and 12, snap back, he's got it. Looking middle, looking far right, going down the right sideline. What a catch by Beckham with his right hand! On 2nd down, he's back, he settles, he's throwing, end zone, touchdown! It's Rashard Higgins! Gives the ball a cutback by Chubb, he's to the 10, he's still running to the 5, he dips outside left, he's going in, touchdown! What a run! Nick Chubb! Here comes Chubb with a cutback, he's out to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, here he goes to the 50, here goes Chubb, he's gonna go! 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Nick Chubb! He's got a hat trick! Here's Mayfield throwing, and it's Odell Beckham Jr. in the clear. 35, 40, he's to the 50, he's running to the 40, he's going into the end zone. 10, 5, touchdown, he's arrived back in the end zone at MetLife Stadium.
Oh, the Browns certainly had their moments last year. Odell in primetime, back at MetLife Stadium. Nick Chubb against the Ravens. They just only won 6 games. So, new coach, new GM, and here's what they have done in the offseason. It's been a very busy offseason, notably Austin Hooper there to open up free agency, and then in the draft, trying to plug some more holes. The man who you heard there yelling Chubba Wubba and so many others other great moments, Jim Donovan, the voice of the Browns since 1999. It is good to see you, sir. Thanks for jumping on here with us today. I assume you heard Baker Mayfield last week said all the right things. Said less talk, more focus, less hype, more winning. It's great to say it in the offseason, Jim. Do they think that holds in September?
I think they do. I think that they realize that he himself realizes that it's a big year coming up. And it's kind of a judgment year, I think, on him personally, and I think the organization on him. I think that they look and say, boy, that rookie season when he finally took over the starting job from Tyrod Taylor, I mean, it was exciting, and he made it look very easy at times. But then last year, I mean, the reality that the quarterback position wasn't easy, and he really struggled. I mean, the numbers tell you that. A lot of interceptions, 21 of them, below 60% in completion percentage. And, you know, just a lot of frustration. So I think that they feel that, you know, he got the message coming out of last season that it has to be a lot different this year.
Yeah,
and at least off his opening act, I think that message was received.
Jim, I was doing our friend Mina Kimes' podcast yesterday, and she asked, how would we divide the blame last year? Offensive line, both tackles struggled. Baker with the turnovers, the wide receivers never being on the field, the defense with the injuries, the coaching. How much goes where? Have they figured that out yet?
Well, I think that they've settled everything down organizationally. I think organizationally it was really pandemonium. I think as much as the organization going into last year, Andrew said, hey, listen, don't get caught up in the hype. I think organizationally, I think they were in on the hype themselves. And I think everybody was just overly excited before we really put the cart before the horse and talked about playoffs and talked about, you know, conference championship games and even higher expectations. And it didn't live up to any of that. So I think they've really settled everything down. I think Andrew Berry's been a great add, and then Kevin Stefanski comes in. And though we haven't had the opportunity to get to know him a great deal because of the virtual offseason that we sit in right now, everything just seems to be very, very businesslike, very smart, very logical. And it will be interesting and a lot of fun to see him, you know, how he runs a practice, how he runs a training camp, how he runs a game, what he does on third and short, things like that. But I think overall the blame, I think, has to go through the entire organization last year. I think everybody got infected with hype. And it really hurt the team.
Sorry to cut you off here. Audio fun. It's fascinating here to see what Stefanski does because, Jim, you saw it and you heard it during the exit interviews last year. I believe it was Jarvis Landry who said leadership. That's what we need. We need leadership. This is a very different and unique time for a young coach to step in and have to show that leadership without really shaking hands with any of his players.
Yeah, that's going to be, it's going to be difficult for every team, but you're right. For a first-time head coach, new staff, bringing in new systems. But I think he's going to have a very receptive audience because I think last year, I don't think anybody liked the way that went last year. And I think it was very disappointing. So to have a new voice come in, first of all, I think was needed. And I think they're very accepting of that. Second of all, I think so far they've liked what he has said and what he has said about what their goal is, what their goal offensively is. So, and defensively and the like. So I just think that really I think everybody right now is open-minded about whatever it's going to take to get this thing going in the right direction. And I think that they realize that it's going to be a very tough situation because you have so many new faces and new voices that you're going to hear on the team.
Real quick, last thing. What would a playoff appearance mean? You remember the emotion yelling, "Run, William, run," when William Green busted through the line against the Falcons, and everyone knew they're back in the playoffs. Forget about the Steeler game for a second, if we can. What would that mean?
Oh, I think it would be an incredible moment, no matter where they would play it. But if they ever got to play it in Cleveland, it would be just an incredible scene. I think it would be something that everybody around the nation would enjoy because there would be so much passion and joy, and spirit spill out into the stadium. And around town, I just can remember when I got to Cleveland, Andrew, and they were in the playoffs every year with Bernie Kosar and going right to those AFC championship games. And it was just expected that they would do it. And I know in a lot of NFL towns, they expect it every year. It's been such a drought here that really we didn't know what we had until we lost it. And to get it back and to get that big game feel back in Cleveland would be absolutely amazing. It really would. It would be something I hope it happens ASAP. But when it happens, it will be very special.
Yeah, people do forget. Younger people, most notably. They did make the AFC Championship game 3 times in 4 years. You have to remind people sometimes. Jim, it's great to see you. Thanks for doing this. Hope you and the family are safe and healthy. Hope to see you in Berea sometime soon.
Thanks, Andrew. Good talking to you.